Hi, everybody. Hi, Chow. Live chat. Live chat. Hi, Lee. Lee, I didn't know that you and your husband shared your birthdays are like a day apart. Is that right? Hi, Judy. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Susan. Hi, Terry. Hi, Catherine. Oh, yours is on the 7th. He's on the 9th. Well, happy birthday to both of you. Hey, Ryan. Hi, Vals. Yeah, don't forget to change it to live chat. Hi, Sherry. Let's cutting up some Nina's Classic Crest Solar White 80 pound while we wait for everybody to jump on. So for you early birds, I want to let you guys know Tracy and I are going to do a Facebook Live on the FSC group. She has a conference call right now, but she said when she's done, so I'm thinking an hour. So we can't go off the rails on this live so that Tracy and I can do our live. I think we're going to do alcohol inks is what we decided on, and one of us is going to use white and the other one's going to use black, that graphics paper, because we all bought that Joggles ink, and so we're going to see what we can make out of that. So stay tuned for that. That will be on Facebook in the FSC group, so everybody can participate and help out. Lee's been busy with his new puppy. Hi, Renee. This is Nina Classic Crest Solar White 80 pounds. Chow put the link for our Facebook group. If you're not a member, you want to head on over there and agree to all the rules. So you got to answer all the questions in order to join our group. I had 3 pieces of paper here. She got a little puggy, a little black puggy. She's so beautiful. What did you name her, Lee? Bella? She's so cute. Yeah, Leah saw it and was like, when are we gonna get a dog? And I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that. All right, so this question is for, I believe Bonnie asked me, right, Bonnie? So over the last couple days, if you guys have missed it, I got a wonderful box from Local King Rubber Stamps. And Local King Rubber Stamps is a company based out of Canada. They design their own stamps, and Lisa's the owner. She has lots of videos. Check out their YouTube. It's Local King Rubber Stamps on YouTube, and their website. There is a oh, I forgot to put the discount code in there. I'll have to get you guys a discount code. Sorry, I jumped on so quick, but I forgot to give you guys a discount code. Or maybe Chow can type it into the chat there. But it's localkingrubberstamp.com, based out of Canada. And she saw my video that I did like a year or 2 ago, and she sent me an email and said, hey, you know, I want to send you some of my new stamps and see what you think about them, and I will give your viewers a discount. So it's 20% off with the discount code. It's not an affiliate link, so you can just go to Local King Rubber Stamp and then use that discount code. There is some fine print, like you can't use it on sale items. You can't, you know, double dip on the coupons. But anyway, the The stamps are fabulous, and I really have been playing with, yeah, Chow just put the discount code on there, so write that down. NS, I think it's 200, isn't it 200? Check the numbers there, Chow. I think it's 200-630, but double check that, Chow. So here is one of the cards that we made with this beautiful 3D background and these turtles. So I will just give you guys a quick refresher of the stamps. This one's called Riding the Wave. And then you can get a combo which has the stencils, and the stencils, you get an outline stencil, and then you get a more detailed stencil which cuts all the little intricate areas out. This one's called Do You See What I See? And we did these beautiful birds. Thank you, Chow. Okay, NS 200-631. That's the discount code. Kingfisher birds. And we did these with the markers. This one's vase number 1. Vase number 2. Let's see here, I cut it out. And vase, or where'd vase number 3 go? I don't know. This one was the one we did yesterday, and I tried this out against the Korean markers, and although both images came out beautifully, the local King rubber stamp markers were actually better than the Korean markers in holding on to the detail. So here is the local King rubber stamp markers. You can see all of the fine detail. And then here is the Korean markers, which still look very nice and vibrant. However, you lose some of the detail because the markers are just too juicy. They were overly juicy. So we lost some of the detail. And this I stamped on that glossy paper we've been using, the semi-gloss paper. So that works really well with these markers. Here is the River Rocks background. This one is called Dew. It really looks like 3D. And then here again is the ocean waves. And what I wanted to show you guys today was, oh, that is vase number 3. I didn't think it was a vase because of all the things. Okay, so Bonnie had asked, I believe it was Bonnie, you know, can I use these stamps without those markers? So the answer is yes. And I'm going to show you some other things that they have here. So I went and grabbed my little stash of stamps, and this is what I want to show you here. I have one really good example, actually. These are some of their other stamps I wanted to show you guys. This is their background stamp called Chinese Symbol. This one is called Chinese Calligraphy. Ripple, which looks like bubbles. Wave. Dragonflies. This is all wrapped up, which is a kimono, and this is what I'm going to show you guys as the example. Koi pond. Chinese Legends, which has a phoenix and a dragon. Asian Delight, and kimono. So all of the stamps that I used yesterday, just to give you guys a perspective on this, all of the stamps that I used yesterday, if you look at these 3 packages, there's 2 types of stamps in here. One is in black and one is in white. One is in black, one is in white, one is in black, and one is in white, okay? The stamps that they sent me are all solid coloring stamps. And what I mean by that is if you stamp out, and I'm just going to do this on a regular piece of paper. I want to show you guys what this difference is because I don't want you to get disappointed when you order these stamps and you didn't order the markers, or you order the markers and then realize, oh, that doesn't work on the stamps that I have. So let me show you what the differences are. Okay, a traditional stamp, red rubber stamp or photopolymer stamp, excluding layering stamps, is what we call an outline stamp. And that means that it's going to be the outline, and what you stamp, you're either going to color it in using traditional methods like color pencils or markers, Copic markers, watercolor markers, whatever you want to use to color it in, okay? So those are traditional stamps. The stamps that she sells are a little different because they're solid stamps. And what the solid stamps are designed to do are for you to use other ways like daubers or markers to color it in. So this I wanted to show you side by side. This is your traditional stamp, right? So we would stamp that, we would color it in, we would draw on it, whatever we want to do with that. This is a solid stamp, and these were the ones that I was using yesterday. And when you use these stamps, yes, you can stamp them with regular ink, as you see that I've done here, but you lose the fun and the detail in using the markers. And they're not completely silhouette stamps, so there's a lot of detail in there. Not that you can't use them that way. There are different ways of using them, but it's designed to work with the markers, okay? So all of the stamps that I showed you yesterday, if you didn't pick up the markers, you need to figure out how you're going to color that in. You can use other traditional water-based markers, which I showed yesterday. The Korean markers are super juicy, or you can use Tombow markers. You may have to huff on those a little bit. Distress markers would probably work okay. Just remember with those markers, you may have to huff on them, which means you bring them up to your face and you blow on them, you moisten them, and then you stamp them down, okay? But for all of the stamps that I showed you yesterday, they're all these solid designs, okay? So I wanted to give you an option of what you could do with these solid designs. Now, in this particular stamp set, this kimono one, they do give you like this other floral set, so you could almost replicate that floral by stamping it on there. It's personal preference, you know, so there's ways around it. So what I'm going to do here is just demonstrate with the markers and then demonstrate a different way of doing it. Are you following me on the difference between the stamps? Slow me down and ask me questions if you're not. So how do you know that when you're purchasing the stamps? Well, her older stamps have two. So you have the outline stamp, and then you have the solid stamp, okay? So those are her old, so you had a choice on the older stamps. The new ones that I just showed you are very large, so you're only getting that solid stamp, and you can look at it by, look at the picture. I mean, you can see the outline is in white, and she used her markers to color these in. Okay, Margaret's got a question. Hi, Margaret. All right, so let me show you on this kimono again. You know what, I'm gonna do it side by side so we can see the difference between using her markers, and then I'm gonna use daubers. So these are her 20 pack of markers, 24 pack of markers. There's also a larger set. I gotta say, I'm very impressed with these markers. We had Diana on yesterday, who was just watching, a subscriber, and Diana said she has had these markers for years, and she has used them on other stamp companies like the Art Impression watercolor stamps. We did do a little test yesterday and found that they do work better on rubber stamps than clear photopolymer stamps. So stick to rubber stamps, I think. The paper, if you use the smoother paper, it does seem to work out a little better. But let's have a go, right? So I'm just going to color this one in and see where we get with it. Actually, I'm going to do the whole thing in one color, and then I'll go back in and add the detail. I do think with these markers, they do stay moist a while, so you don't have to huff on them or re-add any kind of ink. Working in small sections does seem to work a little better. Layering them works a lot better. but they're a lot of fun. So I'm just gonna kind of go in and do the whole kimono itself in one color here, which is light pink, and then I'll go back in and I'll add some accent colors. Hello, Emily. And I said, you know, for our Canadian friends like Emily, like Terry, you know, they always kind of get the short end of the stick because everything that we show them is in the US, and they don't have too many Canadian options. Well, here now you guys have a Canadian option for some beautiful stamps, and you don't get, you know, gouged on the shipping, hopefully. All right, so I just want to show you using the regular Nina paper. It looks a little dry. That's why I said layering these works a lot better if you continue to add the color. Also using that semi-gloss or glossy paper that we've all been using for laser printing on our foiling, that paper works fabulously. But the more you add, it just looks better. It blends a lot better. And I am going to go in and add a second color. This is just my base color. Now, if you don't have these types of markers, but you have other water-based markers, you could do the huffing. You're probably going to get a little dizzy from doing huffing, but it does work. You can also spritz a little water on those stamps before you stamp them. It gives you a more loose watercolor look when you do it that way, but it does work. Okay, so that's just my first layer for now. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit darker pink here and kind of bring out some of my detail. And you don't have to be that precise and, you know, like, oh, stay in the lines and color and all that, because it really doesn't show up that bad. See how much that made a difference already just by adding a second color in there. Let me do the flowers. My desk is limited space right now, so I'm trying to squeeze everything in one place. Hi, Melody. Hi, Jen. Hi, Charlotte. Hi, Mimi. You guys, I actually get to go like work tomorrow. I get to go into a building tomorrow. I'm a little excited. You guys, I watched the coolest video today from Lavinia Stamps. You guys gotta go check it out. She did, trying to remember, see where this goes. She did alcohol lift inks. She did alcohol inks on Yupo paper and then transferred it to regular cardstock, and it like blew my mind. It was like, what? So I tried it and I got it to work, and I need to practice it a little more, but it was pretty cool looking. So, I mean, you guys get the gist of all I'm doing here now is just kind of layering the colors. I think I showed enough yesterday how fabulous these markers are. All right, so obviously I could go in and do some more detail. These are really fine areas, but and again, I would prefer to use the glossy paper on this because it comes out better. But they work pretty good. We proved that yesterday. So I just want to move this over and show you guys an alternate method for those of you who don't have the markers. And that would be using daubers, and it's not going to be as precise, but I think we can still get it to look pretty good. But I would say my first choice is to use the markers. That's what the stamps were designed for. And I'm going to use my VersaFine Clair inks because they're pigmented, so they're really juicy. And then I just have a whole bunch of different colored daubers here. And basically just do the same idea. Yeah, these are Local King rubber stamps and markers. And there's a discount code. You get 20% off if it's not already on sale. So for the first layer, I'm going to start, I always like to do lightest and go to darkest. I'm just going to go in and daub the ink on there with your ink dauber. First layer, I just do nice light color. Be mindful of your colors that you're using. See how I know starting with yellow as my background, I can layer green on top for my flower. I can put some pink or orange on there, and it's really not going to hurt my composition. So be mindful of that. If you want to do like orange and purple, you're going to end up with brown, and nobody wants that. Okay, so you can see stamped out beautifully, but now we want to add some detail in there. So you can certainly go in with markers and color in that detail, but again, that's not what they were designed for. Now, this image is very detailed. There's a lot of kind of elements to it. So it's all in how much effort you want to put into it. Like the birds, I think would be a lot easier to do this dauber method. And then we also have these are blending stumps, and I use these mostly for my color pencils. And we have these Fantastics, which are little foam. You can get them in a bullet point, or you can get them in a brush point. So let me show you the other one. Same thing. Here we go. Okay, so there's two different points that you can use, and the way you use those is really easy. You just, same thing, go into your ink, and then you can either go to the stamp and color in on the stamp and stamp it, or you can go direct to the paper here. Okay, Stacy says she reached out to Local King rubber stamps, and they do ship internationally. You can find out the cost before entering your payment. Thank you, Stacy. All right. I don't really like doing this way because you lose the detail. I like the detail. The other option you have are Stampin' Up! Sells these blender pens. And it's basically the same thing. Like, you can go in with the blender pen, dab it into the ink, and you can go either way here. So you can color it in, or once again, we can go in here, color in on the flower. Basically, these pens, I think, are filled with glycerin. Some kind of solution that stays pretty moist. And you can blend with them. You can stamp with them, whatever. But it's basically make your own markers what you're doing. So you can see there's a little more detail in doing it that way. So there are other options if you didn't get the markers, or you don't want to use those markers, or you bought the stamps and you didn't realize you needed the markers. So there are some alternate ways you can do it, just depending on the stamp set that you got. You might have some of these things already in your stash. But I would suggest, if you're going to buy these solid stamps, just get the markers. Even if you just get the small 24 pack, there's plenty of colors on there. Hi, Candace. So there you can see, colored in those flowers. You know, is it as detailed as I would like? It's definitely not as detailed as I would like. Does it work? Yeah, it works. Same thing as using the markers. You might have to do it a couple times to get full coverage. But there you go. Now, if you're really, really artistic, if you wanted to get daring, one of the things that you can do is actually stamp the two stamps on top of each other, the solid stamp and the outline stamp. Now, I have not done that in a really long time. So to clean these markers, this is all you do. You just keep scribbling until they come clean again. I'll do that later. Let's see if I can align these correctly. So now I'm getting brave. That came out really nice. Yep. You want to say hi? Did you finish eating?
Hello.
Hello, Carmen. So now I'm going to take the outline image. Now, how in the world am I going to be able to line this up, right? That's what you guys are asking. I can't. They're opposites. I just realized that. Never mind. No. Am I losing my mind? I'm losing my mind. What did I just do? How did... Oh, it's the same. You know what? I think I need to go take a nap. They are opposites. So you can see the sash comes out on the left here and it comes out on the right here. So I can't they're mirror images of each other. So I can't even, I was going to line this up and stamp over it using the stamp positioner tool, but never mind, not on this stamp set. So, I mean, you could use a solid stamp, but it is more fun with the markers, obviously. That's really what my point was here in making a fool of myself. Wait a minute. Do I have dies for this? So I guess one die would work for both of them because all you have to do is flip the paper over. Oh, it does have two separate dies. Okay, well, let's do this. This one is still available. I checked and these are all on the website. So if you didn't want to get just the solid ones I showed you yesterday, I checked. These are all on the website. This one is called All Wrapped Up. Kimonos go with everything. I mean, Japanese culture is very trendy. So anything kimono or, you know, koi fish. Like koi fish, isn't that a symbol for luck? Oh, I wanted to show you guys this trick yesterday and I forgot. So here's my stamped image. Here is my outline die. Okay, so this is the outline die. What you can do to make sure you have perfect placement is put this outline over your stamped image. And I know it's hard to see because it's white on white, but I want my die to cut out exactly where I've lined it. I'm going to put my little piece of tape there. Now when I put my die on top, it'll slide into place just like a puzzle piece. And once it's in place, I can tape that down and it'll cut. And it won't cut through the first one because the first one is just the outer shell, right? It's already cut that before. But what it will do is it'll cut through my paper and cut my image perfectly. So if you have a problem lining up dies, I meant to show this yesterday and just got sidetracked with it. So now we'll run this through Gemini Junior. And this die has some intricate, it will emboss a little bit of it, like it embosses the bow and things. So hold on. So you can see it cut through. Oh, it moved. That's my fault. But you can see the intricate lines there on the die. That it moved. I see the thing is, when I taped it down, look, I taped it over. That's my fault. Let's try it again with the other one. So let's try that again. I'm going to flip this over, put it around. Okay, locked into place. Let me tape it the right. If you ever have a problem die cutting an image, this is a good trick, because not all dies, some companies sell those solid dies. You can't even see through them. So what you do is you just keep a template for yourself, which is just a leftover, it's just the outer piece of your die cut. So now I have this as my new template for next time. If you wanted to, you could, what she does is she puts packing tape on her paper before she cuts it, and then when she cuts it through it, you have basically a mask. You have a laminated piece then when you cut it. So there you can see it's cut perfectly. Oops. So I basically just wanted to go through and educate you guys the difference between the solid stamps and the outline stamps. The majority of the stamps that we buy are outline stamps so that we have the option to color them in with pencils, markers, whatever. But if you wanted to do this method with the markers, then you need to have a solid image. And I don't see very many companies doing it. She's the only company I know of that does it. And like I said, excluding layered stamps, because that's a different concept. Layered stamps, you know, they're designed to be solid so you can layer over them. And we tried the markers yesterday with the layered stamps and just did not work out in my favor. Let's see. I can line this up. I don't want to take the chance of doing that. Yeah, I've shown this before for stamping. If you do SVGs and you cut the SVG out and you're like, well, I don't know where I should stamp. Well, that's where this comes in handy, because if you have this outline from the die cut, you can then put your stamp right into there. So let's imagine that wasn't stamped there. I can take this stamp and put it right over the outline and then stamp it perfectly onto my die cut. So there's a couple things you can do with your die cuts that a lot of people don't realize. They just, oh, I just can't line it up. It doesn't cut perfectly. This is going to help your alignment versus trying to eyeball it. And it's just, I mean, it fits right in just like a puzzle. Once it's in there, you just got to make sure you tape it down and it doesn't go anywhere. Oh, that one came out pretty good. So there, again, you can see it with all the, oops, camera's over here, with all of the embossing right in the kimono there. And it did come with a separate flower stamp. So you could stamp this flower. It does have a matching die if you get the die set. The dies are sold separately. But you could stamp the flower, cut out the dies, and then glue that on top of your kimono here. So you could glue it right over the patterned one, or you can just glue it right onto the empty one, whatever you wanted to do with that. So I like the versatility there as well. And then it has these two little grandma, grandpa, Asian people here. Where'd the picture go? Here we go. So you have the solid kimono, the open kimono, the flower set, and then the two little folks. And if you get the dies are on, they show you what the dies are for, but you get the dies for all of them. And I've had this stamp set in my arsenal for quite a while. Like I said, I've been a big fan of local King Rubber stamps for quite a while. And then what I do is when I put everything away, whatever I have for my, if I did any kind of die cutting, I put that back in there and save it for next time. So that gives you some ideas of the difference between the solid stamps that I was using the markers on and the outline stamps if you wanted to just do that, you know, traditional stamping. And then, like I said, you could use the markers. You can use daubers. You can use whatever you have in your arsenal. But I do think her markers, we pretty much proved yesterday, were really, really good for just doing this purpose here. What are you guys doing? Does that clear it up for you, Bonnie? Did I answer everybody's questions? I hope I did. What are you guys talking about? Oh, the blender pens? Yeah, I think Stampin' Up! Sells them in a pack of 3 or 4 if you're interested in that. I do have a Stampin' Up! Hostess code right now in our group, but just send me an email and I'll look them up for you and send you my Stampin' Up! Link. But they come in handy for things like that. You know what I use them the most for? When I make a mistake, when I'm stamping out, like, for example, especially these solid images. Where'd that one go? I guess this one. So see how I missed, like right here, it didn't stamp right. I didn't ink it really well. It's nice to have these markers on hand because I can dip into that ink and then color that in. Especially when you're doing, you guys know I love silhouette images and I'm doing a lot of black silhouette stamping. Well, it doesn't always stamp 100%. So it's nice to take the marker, dip it in the black ink, and then color that in. They're called blender pens. And I'm pretty sure when I get them through Stampin' Up, I think it's a pack of 3. These last quite a while. They're juicy. Oh, it says don't put the ink in there? Okay, well, I've always done it. Never heard anything, but I get that. I understand. You don't want to contaminate anything. Yeah, it's not the same as colorless blenders like for your alcohol markers. You don't want to use this pen on your ink pad. Absolutely not. This is alcohol ink and that'll mess everything up and smear all over the place. It's not what you want. Good point, Stacy. Well, guys, I'm going to give you back 10 minutes. Well, I'll go through these stamps one more time because I know everybody always says, what was the name of that stamp set again? So let me show you those real quick. And then I'm going to get ready to do my duo with Tracy. Tracy's in the house. All right. I have all this cut up paper. All right, so this one was called All Wrapped Up. I'm just going to show you the ones that I have. I don't have a whole bunch, but I have quite a few. Thank you, Regina. So All Wrapped Up is the solid and the outline kimono, the solid flower, and then the 2 little folks here. And again, you can get the dies separate. If you get the dies with the stamp, it's a combo stamp set. You get a little bit of a discount. This one you guys have seen me use before. This one's called Asian Delight. In fact, I tried to use the Nuvo shimmer markers on here. It worked, but it was a little messy. So here's the open one. Here's the solid one. And you get the little tassel. This one is called Kimono. And then I'll go through the new ones again for you. This one's Dragonflies. I love this one. And I have the die for this one. Waves, Ripple, Chinese calligraphy, Chinese symbol, koi pond. This was one of my very first ones, and this is really easy to do because you just do the fish in like orange, yellow. You put a spot of black on there. Maybe I'll show that one real quick. This one is Chinese Legends, which is a phoenix and a dragon. And then these are the new ones. So waves. Do you see what I see? Riding the wave. Dew. River rocks. Vase number 3 came out stunning. Vase number 2 with the butterflies and the little orchids. And vase number 1. Let me show you these fish real quick with the markers. And it is also helpful to use some kind of stamp positioning tool. I'm going to use that glossy paper because that glossy paper is fabulous. Piece of sticky grid on a piece of laminated paper there. That'll hold my paper in place. Just use the magnet to hold the outer part down. But let me show you these koi fish, how much detail they are. Beautiful. And they are high quality red rubber stamps. So this one you don't have to be. This is what's fun, is you don't have to be so neat with these. Because my old dealership, we had like, I don't know, so many, whatever our lucky number is. We had like 18 koi fish or something in there. So it was really cool. Like I got to feed them every morning. Do you remember that, Leah?
Yeah, I like to feed them.
And they were all kinds of beautiful. Look at that. First time. So pretty. I'm going to do another one. Maybe I should have showed this stamp set first. I should have showed this one. Let's do it again. So I just took the smaller fish, and I always go light to dark. There we go. It works a lot easier on that glossy paper. That's the huge difference. Look how easy that was. The markers that I'm using are the Local King rubber stamp markers. You don't have to huff on them. They're very light. They have a lot of pigment in them. They're very juicy. And Diana commented yesterday, she's had these markers for years, and she said they're still juicy, they're still highly pigmented. She definitely would recommend them. So, I mean, you can see if you use the right paper. So I'm going to recommend that glossy, semi-gloss paper that we all have been using for our laser print. If you have not got this paper yet for foiling, you definitely want to get it for foiling, but it really helps with these solid images for stamping. So there's quite a few stamps in here. This one's called Koi Pond, and again, you can get the matching, the dies with it too. So the flowers and the lilies are a completely different set. I don't want to do that right now, but so Local King rubber stamp, and then there's a discount code. I'll put everything in the description for you guys. I missed putting it in because I jumped on here so quick. But Tracy and I are going to do a live on our Facebook page, so I have to go set up for that. We're going to play with some alcohol inks. So join FSC Foiling Snobs Club. Get on over to our Facebook page over there. Tracy and I are going to do a Facebook duo live, and we're going to play with some alcohol inks. But I hope this answered your questions on the stamps and markers. If you have any other questions, you can comment them down below, and I'll certainly answer them or try to do a video for you explaining them. But they are a wonderful stamp company in Canada if you can support them right now, especially since we cannot get to any kind of stamping or scrapbooking conventions. This is a great way to keep companies like this in business with your support. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you at the FSC. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Bye.